The sun was shining brightly on the small town of Willow Creek, casting long shadows across the quaint streets lined with charming old houses. Sarah had always loved living in this picturesque town, but lately it seemed like nothing was going her way. It all started a few weeks ago when Sarah lost her job at the local bakery. The new owner had decided to downsize, and unfortunately, Sarah was one of the employees let go. She had poured her heart and soul into her work at the bakery, and losing her job felt like a punch to the gut. To make matters worse, Sarah's car broke down a few days later, leaving her stranded without a reliable mode of transportation. She had been saving up for months to buy a new car, but now all of those savings were going towards repairs for her old beater. As if things couldn't get any worse, Sarah's boyfriend of 2 years suddenly broke up with her, citing that he needed some space to figure things out. Sarah was devastated, as she had thought they were happy together. Now she was left heartbroken and alone, with no job, no car, and no one to lean on. Feeling dejected and lost, Sarah wandered through the streets of Willow Creek, desperately trying to figure out where things had gone wrong. She found herself at the town's park, sitting on a bench overlooking a serene pond. The gentle rustling of the leaves and the chirping of the birds provided a sense of comfort, but Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that nothing was going her way. Just then, an elderly woman approached her, her face lined with wisdom and kindness. She introduced herself as Mrs. Jenkins, a longtime resident of Willow Creek. "I couldn't help but notice you sitting here looking so forlorn, my dear," Mrs. Jenkins said with a sympathetic smile. "Is everything all right?" Sarah hesitated for a moment before pouring out her heart to the kind woman. She recounted all of the misfortunes that had befallen her in recent weeks, tears streaming down her cheeks as she spoke. Mrs. Jenkins listened intently, nodding her head in understanding. "My dear, sometimes life has a way of throwing us curveballs when we least expect it," Mrs. Jenkins said gently. "But it's how we handle those challenges that truly defines us. You may feel like nothing is going your way right now, but I promise you there is a silver lining to every dark cloud." Mrs. Jenkins went on to share a story from her own past about a time when she had faced a series of setbacks that had left her feeling hopeless and defeated. But through perseverance and a positive attitude, she had overcome those obstacles and emerged stronger on the other side. As Sarah listened to Mrs. Jenkins' words of wisdom, something stirred inside her. She realized that she had been wallowing in self-pity and despair instead of taking control of her own destiny. Yes, life had thrown her a series of challenges, but she was determined to face them head-on and come out victorious. With newfound resolve, Sarah thanked Mrs. Jenkins for her advice and stood up from the bench. She wiped away her tears and took a deep breath, feeling a sense of empowerment coursing through her veins. She knew that the road ahead would be tough, but she was ready to tackle whatever obstacles came her way. As the sun began to set behind the horizon, casting a warm glow over the town of Willow Creek, Sarah took her first steps towards a brighter future. She may have felt like nothing was going her way, but she was determined to turn her luck around and create a life she could be proud of. And with Mrs. Jenkins' words of encouragement ringing in her ears, she knew that she had the strength and resilience to make it happen. Sarah went back home with a smile as she remembered how her mother used to surprise her with a batch of those delicious treats. She knew she had to bring that same joy to others. So with a newfound sense of purpose, she decided to start a small business of biscuit supply. She spent hours perfecting the recipe, making sure each biscuit was just as delicious as the ones her mother used to make. Sarah poured her heart and soul into her business, drawing inspiration from her mother's creativity and love for baking. Word quickly spread about Sarah's mouth-watering biscuits, and soon enough, she had a loyal customer base. The smell of fresh biscuits wafted through the neighborhood, bringing people together and filling their hearts with warmth. Sarah's business flourished, and she found a sense of fulfillment in sharing her mother's recipe with the world. Every bite of her biscuits brought back memories of home and comfort to her customers, just like they did for her. As she watched her business grow, Sarah knew that her mother would be proud. She had found a way to keep her mother's legacy alive through the simple joy of a homemade biscuit. And for Sarah, that was the sweetest success of all.